Hello, everybody. Chris Hamilton here with salestipaday.com. And we're going to get started in about 1 minute. And what you need to do is when you're on the page here, what you need to do is, I'm going to sign in. So just give me a sec here. Let's go sign in. Hit the play button to watch. There we go. Sorry, I had to talk and speak at the same time here. So, okie doke. So, everybody, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get started here. It is now officially 9:30. This is going to take roughly half an hour or so. Thanks all for showing up. There's about 6 of us, I guess, online. I don't know if anyone's looking through my YouTube account where I stream on this, but I'm going to go through how to get thousands of dollars of free advertising. Now, the other thing too is after this, we can ask Dave. I sent Dave Eager a few other topics. Dave, I'm putting you on the spot. Maybe we could figure out another webinar for you guys to do in the next 2 to 3 weeks or something like that, where we can show some other stuff to you. I'm thinking maybe Contactually. I could probably get someone from Contactually to show up and actually do a webinar for you guys to show how to use Contactually. I could do it as well because I use it on a regular basis. Now, that said, though, I'm going to jump right into this right now. And before I get started, usually what I do is I run through a few statistics, just so you get an understanding of what you're doing with when in regards to your job. So 39% of sellers who use a real estate agent found their agents through referral or by friends or family. And 25% use the agent they previously worked with to buy or sell a home. So this represents about 64% of all transactions. So just think about this: is you're getting referrals, they'll use the same agent. It's 64% of all transactions. That's a huge amount. And here's the other thing. This comes from realtor.org. The average realtor is on 9 buy sides or sell sides transactions per year, averaging roughly $5,000, $5,100 in sales for an average income of $45,000, $46,000. These are US dollars because this comes from US sources. Now, here's the kicker though. 73% of past purchasers would use the same agent again, yet only 25% did, which means 48% of real estate agents miss out on easy sales. Now, why do I put these up front? It is extremely important to keep in touch with people that you're connected with or your past sales on a fairly consistent basis, just so you remain top of mind. And on top of that, you'll get easier, you'll have a far greater chance of getting more sales this way. So although it not really necessarily related to the presentation today, I throw that stuff in there just for food for thought, so you can think about this sort of stuff. So now here's what we're going to do. We are going to go into how I kind of leverage different social media channels to generate thousands of dollars in potentially free advertising for my for a house that I put up for sale. So here's what I did: is I've leveraged YouTube, Slideshare, and also a channel called Scribe. And I'm not getting into Scribe. This was about 5-6 years ago almost. Scribe has changed kind of what they did. They used to be like a presentation sharing site. Now what they are is it's actually like a book site. It's almost like Amazon or Barnes and Noble or something like that. So it's not as relevant anymore, but I referenced it a couple of times in here just because of the fact that it's what I did. So if you take a look on the left, this is my Slideshare channel that I use, which got 4,589 views. It's my YouTube, which got 402 views. This is from a couple of weeks ago, I guess, when I started pulling this together. Almost 5,000 in basic views of my home for sale. And so that's an awful lot. And when you look at it, if you're using Google AdWords to drive traffic to your website, literally, this slide comes from a couple days ago. I just looked up Calgary homes for sale, Calgary houses for sale, and you're looking roughly about $2 a click just to get someone to show up at your site. Now, the other thing too, though, is if you get more relevant, which would be new homes in Calgary Northwest or the Southwest, and I'll show you an example later on with Southwest, you're starting to hit almost $8 a click just to get people to come to your site, which to me is, I don't know, crazy, I guess, because you consider, if 100 people click on that, maybe 2 or 3 will contact you. But 100 times $8, $800 just get 2 or 3 people to potentially contact you. Pretty darn crazy if you ask me. So anyways, I'm going to walk you through my process. So the steps are, it's pretty straightforward. You create a PowerPoint presentation or any kind of presentation. Could be a Keynote if you're using Mac, or you can actually use Google Docs. They have a presentation software in there. What I would do is then you add it to Slideshare, then you add it to YouTube, and you can also add it to other social media channels or other social media sites. And then the killer, the thing that drove the most traffic for me was, it wasn't that necessarily this stuff was SEO'd, search engine optimized. It was that I was leveraging a tool called Social Oomph. And I'll get into Social Oomph in a bit, but that was my little secret weapon. So this will now be your guys' secret weapon as well. So here we go. We're going to start going through this. So I'm going to talk about creating a presentation. It's pretty straightforward. Most of you probably already use a photographer to take pictures of your home. So, a professional photographer of some sort going through the homes and everything like that. So you've got, content for a presentation. Now, here's what you do is you just build out a presentation. This is one that I did in Keynote on a Mac for my house that was in Discovery Ridge. Shout out for Dave. He's the one that actually got me this house originally years ago, about 16 years ago. Anyways, I put together stuff on a master bedroom and every little thing, the basement, the kitchen, family room. I mean, this thing was probably about 13 to 16 slides long. And then what I did was I put the back page up on this with the contact to my realtor in order to reach out to him. And the reason why I did this was because the house, it was on the market for a long time. Probably no different than what you're seeing kind of nowadays as well. But it was on the market for almost a better part of a year. And it just was not selling. I was going squirrely because I was paying a mortgage on this house and another house. And I just said, I got to figure out some way to actually sell this house. So that's where this whole kind of process came out of desperation, trying to save double mortgage payments a month. So anyways, just as it relates to a presentation, like I said, you've already got the photos, use them. Do a write-up on a page, but when you see on these pages, don't put like long verbiage, use bullet points. People's eyes are drawn into bullet points. Just use bullet points on this stuff. And then last but not least, make sure you have your contact information. Your contact information being your name, phone number, email address. Put the listing of the house on there as well. So put the URL from your website onto the house or onto that presentation, so that people can click through to it as well. So that's kind of create the presentation. Now that I've created this presentation, what do I do with it? So the first thing I did is I went over to slideshare.net. And if people don't know what Slideshare is, it's a great little tool. It's actually owned by LinkedIn. LinkedIn bought it probably 2 or 3 years ago, I believe, is when they purchased Slideshare. And what it does is it allows people to put up presentations and also documents, so like white papers. And I highly recommend go to slideshare.net and type in like Calgary home for sale, Calgary house for sale, see what kind of things pop up there as well. I don't think I'm on the first page or second page, but doesn't matter. I'm not selling my house anymore. But take a look and see what your competitors are doing as well. One of the other things I think is really cool with Slideshare is if you create a presentation, you can put it up here, and I'll show you how to search engine optimize it and do a whole bunch of different things and get analytics from it. But the other thing you can do is you can attach YouTube videos into there. So you can almost double dip. So what you can do is create a presentation with your 15, 16 slides or whatever it is. Then you just take that first slide, load it up again, and if you create a YouTube video around it, which I'll show you in a couple seconds, you can tack that in right behind it. So you've literally got this presentation up twice on SlideShare for people to be able to view. So long story short, go to slideshare.net, poke around, see what's there. They got really cool topics. I love the platform. In order to, if you've never logged in before, you have to create an account. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can log in with LinkedIn, Facebook, or you just kind of create an account down here. If you have a LinkedIn account, which most people do, just click LinkedIn. It'll bring you up here and it'll connect you, allow access to get access to SlideShare, and that's how you set an account up as well. So then what do you do? So you've created this presentation. Where do you go? So along the top, there's a little button called Upload, and it's pretty straightforward. You can drag and drop a file into here. Now, if you're using a Mac and you're using Keynote, they will not take Keynote. They only take PowerPoint presentations. So what you have to do is export it out to a PowerPoint or export it out to a PDF. So they will put a PDF in here. They'll put and they'll put a PowerPoint presentation in here. So you can click this button here, or you just drag and drop it right in here. Now, when it does that, it starts to upload your file. And when you upload your file, what it does is it's going to ask you for a title, description, category, public or private, put it public, tags, and then don't worry about this lead form. That's going away in a couple of months. But they have this thing called Discoverability Score. So I'll get to this in a sec. So what you want to do, my tips and tricks here, put in the title, Calgary house for sale, and then put the address in there, or even put the neighborhood in and then put the address in. Then what you want to do, your first line that you want to put in here is the link to the page on your website, so that people can have access to it. And then down below, put a bunch of information in on the home. Maybe you've got a write-up that you've already done for your website, copy, paste, put it in here. Choose a category. These categories are, what you'll end up getting is business, I believe, would probably be the closest one that you could do. Once again, leave this public because you want people to see it. And then go into tags. So what you want to do is you want to put a whole bunch of tags in there. Tags are like Calgary house for sale, Calgary home for sale, Calgary Northwest house for sale, Calgary Southwest house for sale in Calgary, Calgary house for sale. You know, a whole bunch of different things that you can think about accessing or getting found on as well. And then what happens is down here, there's a little status bar that keeps moving along as it keeps going up to tell you kind of what your discoverability score. Discoverability score is if you just put a title in and pick a category, you're going to be way down here. You're never going to get found, right? The more information you put in here, the more it gets searched within the search engines and also within SlideShare, and make sure that it's relevant to the search that people do. So you want to have this thing as high up as you can. It doesn't take long to get here as well. So that's where you upload the presentation. This is where you kind of search engine optimize it, stuff it with keywords. Then the interesting thing, so now when I talk to realtors, I tell realtors you can sell a home, or you can kind of elevate it and take it to that next level and explain to people what you're doing to promote their home. So this is kind of cool. When you upload a presentation of someone's on SlideShare, if you go over here, and I didn't show it, but there's my ugly mug there. If you click on that, it'll show you analytics. And if you click the analytics, it brings up a page like this, and it says, here's all the stuff that you've uploaded into SlideShare. And it'll say, here's the views, here's how many times it's been liked, how many comments, how many times it's been downloaded. This varies for me. It's all over the map. You know, usually I get about 100 to 200 people looking at any of these presentations over a period of time. And then what you can do is, if you want to see an overall, you can take a look at your analytics. So you click on this button here, and it'll show you kind of how many people are visiting and looking at stuff, your presentations. It'll show you what your top content is and where people are coming from. The other thing too is if you actually go look at your presentation, so this is where you can get the views and see how many people are looking at it. If you look at your presentation on SlideShare. So how you do that is you click up here, it'll bring up your presentations. You click on it, it'll bring up this page here. There's a little button that says Analytics Free. And if you click on that, then what it does is it actually brings up the analytics specifically for that presentation. So what you could do is it'll give you a summary, tell you how many people have looked at it over what kind of period of time. You can see where the viewers are from. You can export this as well. You see if there's any social shares against it or anything like that. Now, here's where this is important, where I'm going to take this kind of one step further. And if you're a realtor, instead of just selling a house, showing your clients what you're doing to promote your house, the house, or the marketing that you're doing, you can take this and print this off on a monthly, weekly basis and run just a quick little report for these guys. Say, hey, look, we've got this many views that went up on Slideshare. You can do the same with YouTube. You can do the same with other things. I'll show you that in a couple of minutes as well. That's providing value to your clients to show them what's going on. So that's what you do with the presentation. You put it up on Slideshare. And like I said, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can just put the basic presentation up, or you can take the picture of, or you can take a copy of the first slide that you do and put a YouTube video behind it. Doesn't matter. It's just, it's a great way to promote stuff out. And obviously, as you can see, I mean, like I got 4,500 views on this thing. Now that's over a 6-year period, but when I was poking this out and pushing it out, I mean, it was probably close to about 3,500, 4,000 views when this listing was active as well. So now I'm going to jump into YouTube. So why is YouTube important? So I don't know whether you know this or not, but YouTube, obviously people do know this, it's owned by Google, but I don't know if you know this or not. YouTube, believe it or not, is the second largest search engine in the world. And it's a powerful tool that you can use to generate opportunities. So one of the things that I will talk about, just talk to you right now before I jump into this, is that if you put the right descriptions in, if you put the right information in, and everything like that, if people start looking up specific things on Google, Google brings in YouTube results. So there's a way that you'll get found on YouTube, but also get found on Google for this as well, if you do it the correct way. And I'm not going to go into it. That's just, I'll go into a little bit of the detail on that stuff, but it's a great way to promote stuff. So here's what I did. I took this home. I got 402 views, which I like. I'm totally happy with that. Someone actually liked it. I probably liked it, or maybe Dave did. I have no idea. But anyways, what I did was, you put a title in. So put like Calgary home for sale, Calgary house for sale, Calgary house in Southwest, or Southwest Calgary house, Calgary Southwest house for sale, and then put the address in. That's what I did here on this one. So in order to get videos onto YouTube, first of all, go create a YouTube account if you don't already have one. If you have a video that someone's made for you, that you've made, all you do, just drag and drop it into here, or just upload it. You click here and upload it. Another thing too is, if you have a bunch of pictures, go over here and you can create a slideshow. So how do you, first of all, how do you get in here? Along the top of YouTube, there's a thing that says upload, this little arrow that goes up. Click on that and it brings up this screen. This, I created a slideshow for a couple of buddies of mine who live down in the Atlanta area, who built a home, who wanted to get it up on YouTube. So I said, hey, look, I'll do it. Took me all of about 5 minutes to pull together. And it was I'm not really a creative guy, but it was a slick looking video. That's me patting myself on the back here. But it was a slick looking video, and it was done in almost next to no time. It was crazy. It was good stuff. Hey, so here's where we're going to get into some of the details that you have to put in on the YouTube video. So first of all, once you get catchy title, put that title in there. I've got monetized up here. My YouTube account is monetized, and it will display ads unless I go and click in here and turn off the ads. If you have the same thing, make sure you turn off the ads if you have them, if you have your channel monetized, because it will bring up your competitors' ads if they're running any on your channel. You don't want that as well. As I said before, put the link in for the URL in for the house that you've got, or whatever it is you're trying to push people towards. Put some great content in here. Make sure you put keywords in. This is down here. So this will be where it's like Calgary house for sale, Southwest Calgary house for sale, Calgary house for sale, whatever it is, all that stuff. Also, if you've got your Google Plus and Twitter accounts connected, you can actually tweet these out, post it up to Google Plus as well. So extra way to get more people looking at it, and just fill this out as best you can. Now, just after saying that, here's something that I love. It's a tool that I use for my sales and marketing videos. It's called VidIQ. You can get it on the Google Chrome store. If you just go to VidIQ, you can sign up for a free account. What VidIQ does is, and I'll just jump forward really quick here, is it pulls information together for you to tell you how findable your YouTube video is going to be. So you have to add content. So what happens is it says, put certain things in. So it starts to list off information saying you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Here's how you increase your score. Here's how you put in certain keywords. It'll recommend keywords and a bunch of different things. It's a great little tool to use to make sure that your YouTube videos are findable. Now, the other thing that's really cool about it is if you go and start looking at your competitors' videos, one of the nifty things is it starts to show you kind of what they're doing and how many likes they've got and a whole bunch of information as it relates to specifically to that video. And the other thing I really like is that it actually pulls in all the tags that that person is using to tag their video, which I showed you just over here, which is this section down here. And I would recommend go look at your competitors' videos and build out a keyword list from some of the best videos that you find online and use them for yourself and put them in there. So that's okay. So we've created the presentation. We've added it to Slideshare. We put it on YouTube. I'm going to talk about Scribe for a second. Just once again, Scribe I wouldn't use nowadays because it is it's changed its format, but I just do this just so you have an understanding of kind of what I did about 6 years ago when we did this. So I got 318 views on Scribe, not fantastic, but I'm not gonna send it away or anything like that. I'll take any kind of views I can get against my house. So anyways, I'm going to talk to you. Here's some social media platform tips. So Slideshare, YouTube, if you're using any of the other ones, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, whatever, blah, 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 all that stuff. Like I say, add your house URL at the top of this description if they allow it. Make sure you have a great description of the house. Put the keywords in. Once again, I can't hammer this home. Calgary house for sale, Calgary home for sale, Southwest Calgary home for sale. Put the neighborhood in, a whole bunch of different things. And add your contact information. Put it in there. I don't know if you can see, it's probably not in here. Actually, if on my YouTube channels, if you scroll down, it's got all my contact information down at the bottom here. So that's, that's the stuff that you have to do. So now, that's how we've put everything kind of onto a social media platform. Okay, so this is going to be potentially your new best friend. And it's a platform called Social Oomph, socialoomph.com. And what Social Oomph does, it allows you to run recurring tweets on Twitter and also post to Facebook, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. And now I would not recommend posting your house listings to LinkedIn. It's a business network, not really a place where you're supposed to be putting stuff like that up. But Facebook, Pinterest, more than likely it's applicable. Twitter, absolutely. So what the benefit of using Social Oomph is that I can create a tweet or a whole bunch of tweets, and I can schedule them out in the future over a period of time. Or what I can do is schedule them to tweet at specific times throughout the day. Now, if you can't kind of wrap your head around that, don't worry. I'm going to show you a link. I created a video to show you guys how to actually use it, and I'll give you the link here in a couple of seconds as well. So when you go into Social Oomph, first of all, socialoomph.com, you can go there, sign up for an account. There's a free account. There's a paid for account. A paid account is about $40 a month. Free account is limited. I don't know if you could do the recurring tweets on a free account or not. But anyways, I'm going to show you how to do posting because I've got a paid for account. I'm going to show you how to do the recurring posting. So what you do is you click up here, posting. You get the option of new text update, new image and text, and a new blog post. I never use the new blog post. What you do is you put your tweet in here. If your URL is super long, you can click this shorten link. And if you have a Bitly account that's connected to your Social Oomph account, and I'll get into Bitly in a couple of seconds here, then it will shorten the characters in that URL. So if you have a URL that's like 140 characters long, then by shortening it, it'll bring it down to 18. So it frees up a lot of room for you to add more information in your tweets. The other thing too that's nice is that Social Oomph has their own shortener, and you can track results against that as well. Then what you do is you go down in here and you can, if you create a great tweet up here, you can save it as a draft that can be used over and over again. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. You can send tweets out now. You can set it up a specific number of times. You can set it up at an exact date and time, and you can make it recurring. And then what you do is you hit save. So I'm just going to go really quickly just into the recurring tweets and how it works here. You have to pardon my stupidity. These brackets, they have to be that kind of squiggly bracket, and then the big long bar. Those you have to use. So what you do is you put squiggly bracket. This is my first tweet. Put your link in, big bar. This is my second tweet, link, big bar, and so on. What this allows you to do is schedule these tweets. And depending on how you set it up, and I'll show you in the next slide, it will send this tweet out first. And then a specific time later, it'll send this one out. Specific time later, it'll send this one out. If you only have 3 and you want this to run, say, every 8 hours, it'll send this out in a specific time. 8 hours later, it'll send this out. 8 hours later, it'll send this out. If you're running it for 5 days, it'll cycle right back to this one and do it again and do it again and do it again. And it'll cycle through 8 times, sending these tweets out on a regular basis. So you can set up specific intervals and over what period of time you want. So here's one of the things that's missing from this slide is this is where you put your recurring tweet in up here, and then the information comes down here. You publish the update at an exact time. So you pick that time and that date when you want it to go out. You say, you know, how often do I want this to go out? I want it out every 8 hours. And we're going to run it for, 4 intervals. So if I have 3 tweets that I'm going to do that are recurring and I run it every 8 hours, that means, over a 24-hour period, it's going to go up 3 times. And then I'll run it for 4 intervals, which means it's going to run for 4 days. And then you pick your account or whatever accounts. You can put multiple accounts if you want to tweet it out, if you have a bunch of Twitter accounts or anything connected in here. And you hit save, and that's all you do. And it just starts running it for you over a period of time. So what I really like, and specifically if you're a realtor, here's what's of value, is this maximum recurrences. So you know that homes ultimately sell. If you set this to 0, then what's going to happen is it's going to keep that thing going forever. It will just keep going and going and going. So you need to pick a number between 1 and anything above that to let it go. So if you want something to run for like a week, you're running it every 8 hours, and you've got 3 tweets, recurring tweets, then you put 7 in here. Why I like this though is because that house could sell within 7 days. So you don't want to be necessarily promoting that house out again. So what you do is you make note to yourself, put something in your calendar saying, hey, I got to send this tweet out again on this day. If I look at that and it pops up in my calendar or my task list, I say, oh, wait, the house is sold. I don't have to do this anymore. So I don't have to worry about it. So I just drop that one and I keep working on my other ones. Here's something though that you should do. I would highly recommend putting an image in, because you've already got images of the house. You get those images, you put those tweets in. So what you do is you go posting, new image, and text, click this information, put it in here. And then realistically what you do is just put your tweet in there and you go through and set it up. Reason why you want to do this, and this is, I own an accounts payable software company. So this is a tweet that I did through Social Oomph that pulled in pictures for a marketing course that I have for bookkeepers and accountants. But by adding an image, it gets retweeted 150% more often, gets 89% more likes, and you get click-throughs 18% more times. So you're upping your odds of people actually clicking on your link and going and looking at stuff. So once again, I told you, this stuff, very high level. It's easier to watch it in a video. And I created a video. It's about 10 minutes long. If you go to bit.ly/SO_vid, then it will show you, I'll kind of walk you through the whole process, signing in, getting these tweets set up as an individual tweet or recurring tweets over a period of time, a whole bunch of different things. It will show you how to do all this stuff. Now, I highly recommend getting a paid account. Here is a link just to get to Social Loop so you don't have to worry about spelling that out. bit.ly/SL_2017. I'm going to put a caveat on that. This is an affiliate link. I do get a commission on this, but I am providing you guys ways to save potentially tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in advertising dollars over the lifespan of your career, if not even into the millions. So it's a mere pittance if you sign up to get compensated for that sort of stuff. So just a FYI, I always like to be fully transparent on this stuff. That said, you've gone through. So you created the presentation, added social media. You're using social info. This is going to be your new power tool to promote out to people in the network and everything like that. What you want to do is do tracking. So you want to understand what's going on. Same thing. Once again, you want to be able to explain to your clients what's going on with the social media as it relates to their house. One of the things you want to take a look at is go to bitlinks or bit.ly, and I've mentioned it several times in this presentation. What bit.ly does is it takes super long URLs and shrinks them down to, I believe it's like 18 characters long. So like I say, if you've got a, Dave's updating his status. Good for you, Dave. Thanks for watching, Dave, instead of being on Facebook, calling you out. Anyways, what it does is, if you got a super long URL, shrinks it up so you can add more verbiage about the house and everything like that. But the other cool thing that I love about it is when you create a link, so you click create bit link, throw it up here, it will create a link down here for you. You can track what's going on and where people are coming from and how many people are looking at stuff. So think about it this way. You create a link that is specific to the social media stuff that you're pushing out through social oomph. And now you can track that for your clients and say, hey, look, we got like 20 hits this week. We got 200 hits this week, whatever it is, on your home for on Slideshare. And we got this many on YouTube. We got this many on Pinterest. We got this many on whatever. It's just, you can track this stuff and push it out to people. And it's phenomenal tool for tracking that stuff. So I'm going to go through the recap on just this stuff. So here's my math on this once again. So YouTube, this information comes from about 2 months ago when I did this presentation, so I didn't update it with any newer results. But I got basically over 5,300 views between these three channels to look at stuff. At the time, Calgary home for sale was about $1.70 a click. We saw before it was about $1.99, $2 a click. In this case, I would have saved myself $9,000 and change, all for about 1 hour work. It took me less than an hour to create all this stuff and just do it. So, this is easy for you to do. Takes an hour to do. And, look at the amount of money I saved myself by doing this sort of stuff. At the time when I looked up this a couple months ago, new home in Calgary Southwest was going for $12.32 a click. Based on the numbers I have here, if it was a Southwest Calgary home, I would have saved myself $65,000, almost $66,000 in advertising costs for that house. So think about this. It's crazy. If you sell 25 homes a year, based on those numbers alone, you are getting roughly $225,000 per year in free, at a minimum, free advertising. So hundreds of thousands of dollars of free advertising, up to potentially $1 million plus in free advertising. That's the easiest. For an hour, that'd be 25 hours worth of time over a year, which is less than 1% or approximately 1% of the working hours in a year. Well worth it to get that kind of return. So once again, I'm going to just harp on the benefits to your clients. And the biggest one is, once again, use Bitly to shorten those links so that you can track them. The other thing, though, in Social Oomph is they do have an ability to shorten the links, and they track it with theirs is a dld.bz is how it gets shortened. And how you check on this is you do this, you click monitoring up here, and it says download this. You can set the time frames, and you hit download, and then what it does is it actually sends it to your it sends it to your email in a CSV file, but it'll show you, here's your long URL. When was it created? Here's the number of clicks. Now, the caveat I do on this though is this is the number of clicks in total since you created that URL. So you're going to have to run this on a weekly basis and then kind of subtract the numbers. So let's just say, this week it's 279. Last week it was 260. I would know that, 19 clicks came through because of this. This is the sort of stuff you can go back to your clients and just start consulting with them on and explaining to them, hey, here's what the results are that we're starting to see. So once again, don't just be a realtor, show them what the hell you're doing. So you're providing the value and helping them out as well. So long story short, that we're at the end of this presentation. It took roughly 35 minutes. If you want, feel free to reach out to me, Chris Hamilton. You can get me at chris@salestipaday.com. Or the other thing too is my phone number, 403-630-1243. If you guys want to watch a replay of this video, the page that you're on right now, I'll leave the video up on it for a couple of weeks. You can come back and watch it on there. So you get access to it. And one thing that I want to talk about, if you want to get social, so once again, I've got that bit.ly/SO_2017, or just down below my ugly mug on the right hand side. I've got a little button that you can click that you can access and get social info. Once again, there is an affiliate link on there. I don't make a heck of a lot, but it's a way to offset my costs for educating and teaching as well. If you have any questions, I'm looking at the chat box down below the video. Feel free to ask me any questions, and I will be more than happy to answer them as well. So just let me know what you think. I'm sitting around. I'm going to keep the presentation going for a little bit here and just see if anyone has any questions. I'm going to type in here questions. Oops. There you go. The other thing too is Dave and I will send another note out. If you guys want to do this again, I'd love feedback. If you think this is valuable or not, even in the chat box below, if you found this valuable, please let me know. No questions. I have to go. Have a good day. Thank you, Chantel. Just let me know, was it valuable? Did you find it valuable? That's the only thing that's one of the big things I'd like to know. Looks like people are dropping off. Thanks. Great presentation, great info, and additional listing presentations. How we leverage social media for our sellers. Great. Thanks, guest 2682. Appreciate that. Don't know who you are, but appreciate that. So I'm going to say probably at this point in time, we probably don't have any other questions. Go back and watch this information, and I'll leave it up. Once again, Dave, you can let people know. Send them the link and just say, hey, if you want to watch it, you can watch it at the link that we've listed here, which is salestipaday.leadpages.co/Remax-central-webinar. And we'll go from there. Thanks a ton, everybody. Appreciate it. There we go. Thanks, and everyone have a wonderful day. Turning off the broadcast now.